Commander Zaxxon Vrel stood at the helm of the Galactic Council's flagship, the Celestial Arbiter, his 4 eyes fixed on the swirling nebula before him. The vibrant colors masked a deadly secret, a newly discovered world teeming with resources vital to the Council's expansion. But initial surveys had revealed a problem: the planet's harsh conditions made it uninhabitable for most known species. Status report, Zaxxon barked, his leathery skin rippling with anticipation. First Officer Crixus Noom, a willowy Centaurian, responded promptly. Sir, we've detected an unidentified vessel approaching the planet. It appears to be human. Zaxxon's upper eyes narrowed while his lower pair widened in surprise. Humans? Here? Impossible. Their kind barely left their solar system a century ago. Nevertheless, sir, the readings are clear. It's definitely a human ship. Zaxxon growled, a low rumble that sent shivers through the bridge crew. The humans were an anomaly in the galactic community, a species that had exploded onto the scene with unprecedented speed. Their rapid technological advancement was impressive, but it was their biology that truly set them apart. Hail them, Zaxxon ordered, his voice laced with barely contained contempt. The viewscreen flickered to life, revealing a rugged human face. The man's eyes were a startling blue, his skin weathered by years in space. This is Captain Riker Stormborn of the Earth ship Horizon. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking? Zaxxon straightened, towering over his subordinates. I am Commander Zaxxon Vrel of the Galactic Council. You are trespassing in restricted space, human. Explain your presence immediately. Riker's expression remained neutral, but a glint of amusement danced in his eyes. Restricted. My apologies, Commander. We received no such notification. We're on an exploratory mission, seeking new worlds for colonization. Colonization? Zaxxon spat the word as if it were poison. This world is uninhabitable. Your frail species would perish within days. A slow smile spread across Riker's face. With all due respect, Commander, I think you'll find that humans are full of surprises. Before Zaxxon could respond, the communication cut off abruptly. He whirled on his science officer, demanding answers. Sir, the Valerian scientist stammered, his bioluminescent skin pulsing with nervous energy. The humans. They're landing on the planet's surface. Zaxxon watched in disbelief as the small human vessel pierced the planet's turbulent atmosphere, disappearing from view. Fools, he muttered. They've signed their own death warrant. But as the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the impossible became reality. Not only did the humans survive on the hostile world, they thrived. Doctor. Alara Frost wiped the sweat from her brow, her eyes fixed on the data scrolling across her tablet. The harsh sun of Nova Terra, as they dubbed their new home, beat down mercilessly, but she barely noticed. Her mind was consumed by the genetic miracles unfolding before her. Alara, a voice called out. She looked up to see Zain Khalil, the colony's agricultural expert, jogging towards her. His dark skin glistened with a sheen of sweat, but his eyes sparkled with excitement. You need to see this, Zain said, gesturing for her to follow. They made their way through the sprawling biodomes that housed their fledgling colony. Each step took them further from the sterile, climate-controlled environments and closer to the untamed wilderness beyond. Zain led her to a small plot of land just outside the colony's protective shields. There, stretching as far as the eye could see, was a field of wheat, but unlike any wheat Alara had ever seen. The stalks stood twice as tall as a man, their golden heads heavy with grain. How is this possible? Alara breathed, reaching out to touch one of the mutated plants. Zain grinned. It's us, Alara. Our DNA. Somehow the extreme conditions here are accelerating our natural genetic diversity. The crops we planted. They're evolving alongside us, adapting to this world at an unprecedented rate. Alara's mind raced with the implications. If their crops were evolving this quickly, what did it mean for the colonists themselves? As if in answer to her unspoken question, a child's laughter rang out. They turned to see young Arden, one of the first children born on Nova Terra, darting between the wheat stalks. His movements were impossibly fast, his reflexes beyond anything Alara had seen in a human child. Arden, she called out. Come here for a moment, please. The boy appeared before them in the blink of an eye, not even winded from his exertion. Alara crouched down, examining him closely. His eyes, once a deep brown like his parents', now held flecks of gold that seemed to shift and change in the sunlight. "How do you feel?" Ardenshi asked gently. The boy grinned, revealing teeth that seemed just a bit sharper than normal. "I feel great, Doctor. Frost, everything's so clear now. I can see really far and I can hear the birds singing on the other side of the colony." Alara and Zane exchanged worried glances. The changes were happening faster than anyone had anticipated. "Thank you, Arden," Alara said, ruffling the boy's hair. "Why don't you go find your parents? I'm sure they're looking for you." As Arden sped off, Alara turned to Zane. "We need to call an emergency meeting. Now." Commander Zaxxon Vrel paced the bridge of the Celestial Arbiter, his agitation palpable. 6 months had passed since the humans had landed on Nova Terra, and in that time they'd accomplished the impossible. "Show me the latest scans," he demanded. A holographic display flickered to life, revealing the surface of the once barren world. Where there had been nothing but toxic wastelands, now stood thriving settlements. Vast fields of crops stretched across the landscape, fed by irrigation systems that seemed to defy the planet's harsh chemistry. But it was the biological scans that truly unnerved Zaxxon. The humans were changing. Their genetic structure was in constant flux, adapting to the extreme environment at a rate that defied all known science. Sir First Officer Crixus interrupted his brooding. "We're receiving a transmission from the surface." Zaxxon narrowed his eyes. "Put it through." The viewscreen came to life, revealing Captain Riker Stormborn. But the man who stood before them now was a far cry from the one they'd encountered 6 months ago. His physique had become more muscular, his skin tougher and slightly iridescent. His eyes glowed with an inner fire that sent a shiver down Zaxxon's spine. "Greetings," Commander Vrel Riker said, his voice deeper and more resonant than before. "I hope this transmission finds you well." Zaxxon struggled to maintain his composure. "What have you done, human? What abomination have you unleashed upon yourselves?" Riker's laugh was rich and full of life. "Abomination? No, Commander. This is evolution in its purest form. Humanity has always been adaptable, but here on Nova Terra, we've unlocked our true potential." "You can't possibly control these changes," Zaxxon argued. "You're playing with forces beyond your comprehension." "On the contrary," Riker replied calmly, "we understand more now than ever before. Our scientists have made breakthroughs that will revolutionize genetics across the galaxy, and we're willing to share this knowledge for a price." Zaxxon's mind reeled. The implications were staggering. If the humans could adapt this quickly to one of the harshest worlds in the galaxy, what other planets might they be able to colonize? The balance of power in the Galactic Council could shift dramatically. "What do you want?" Zaxxon asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Riker's eyes gleamed with triumph. Recognition. A seat on the Galactic Council. And unrestricted access to explore and colonize new worlds. Zaxxon knew he should refuse. The rational part of his mind screamed that these evolved humans posed a threat to the entire galactic order. But another part, a part driven by curiosity and the thirst for knowledge, urged him to accept. I will need to consult with the Council," Zaxxon said finally. Riker nodded. "Of course. We'll await your response. But don't take too long, Commander. Evolution, as we've learned, waits for no one." As the transmission ended, Zaxxon turned to his crew. Their faces reflected the mixture of fear and awe he felt churning in his own gut. "Set a course for Galactic Central," he ordered. "And pray to whatever gods you believe in that we're not already too late." Back on Nova Terra, Alara Frost stood at the edge of the colony, looking out over the transformed landscape. In just 6 months, they'd terraformed an entire continent. The air, once toxic, now filled her enhanced lungs with life-giving oxygen. The soil, previously barren, now teemed with microorganisms of their own design. But it was the colonists themselves that truly amazed her. Each day brought new changes, new adaptations. Some developed gills to better process the planet's unique atmosphere. Others found their skin hardening into a natural armor. The children born on Nova Terra were evolving even faster, their bodies and minds adapting to their new home in ways that defied imagination. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Captain Riker's voice startled her from her reverie. Alara turned to face him, noting the new bioluminescent patterns that danced across his skin in adaptation to the planet's long, dark nights. "It's incredible," she admitted. "But Riker, Are we still human? With all these changes, where do we draw the line? Riker's expression softened. Humanity isn't defined by our physical form, Alara. It's our spirit, our drive to explore and adapt, that makes us who we are. We haven't lost our humanity, we've expanded it. A distant rumble drew their attention to the sky. A massive ship, easily dwarfing their own vessels, broke through the cloud cover. Right on schedule, Riker murmured. Alara's eyes widened. The Galactic Council. Riker nodded, a slight smile playing at the corners of his mouth. They've agreed to negotiations. It seems our little experiment has caught their attention. As they watched the ship descend, Alara couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, armed with the ultimate weapon, the ability to adapt and evolve at will. What happens now? She asked softly. Riker's eyes gleamed with the same fire that burned in all of Nova Terra's colonists, a fire of limitless potential and unquenchable curiosity. Now, he said, his voice filled with quiet determination. Now we show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. The massive ship touched down, kicking up a storm of dust and debris. As the ramp lowered, revealing the diverse array of alien species that made up the Galactic Council, Alara felt a surge of pride and anticipation. The human race had faced extinction-level events, ice ages, and their own destructive tendencies. They had survived it all, adapted, and grown stronger. Now, standing on the precipice of a new era, Alara knew that the greatest adventure in human history was just beginning. As Commander Zaxxon Vrel took his first tentative steps onto Nova Terra's soil, the planet itself seemed to pulse with energy born from the incredible genetic diversity of its new human inhabitants. The next chapter in galactic history was about to be written, and humanity, in all its adaptive glory, would be holding the pen,